What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first review of Double October 4. Fourth year we're going into it. In case you're wondering why it's 4 this year, not 2019. Because it just sounded better. And I could get the really cool logo. You know, the one you saw at the intro. But I'll put it up again here. Yeah, that one. And of course, we're starting out where it all started. With the very first kit in the 00HG line. The GN-001 HG Gundam Exia. I could say that in a better order, but eh. So you got some old school artwork here. It wasn't the first scene we saw Exia, because in the first scene, I don't believe he was using... No, he was using that sword. So this is probably the very first scene when he trashes the demonstration of the head... No, an act. I had to think about that, sorry. A head is a totally different thing. So that's pretty good looking artwork. You got the 00 Classic logo up there. You guys should know it by now if you're 00 fans. And Bandai 2007, way back when, and it was illustrated by Morishita Naochika, which you should all know. That's one of my favorite artists of all time. And of course, we come to the side, we got GN swords. So it's pointing at the thing, it can turn into a gun. The knee can do swishy swishy motions. You got action! Yep, you got a hand. Okay. He has sword that he can dance around with. Yellow things can move. Other stuff can move. His hips can do groovy things. You got clear parts and rubber parts, and hey, it fits on a stand. And come around to that side, and you've got number 1 in the line. Like I said, that's where it all begins. And that makes sense, because he is GN-001. That's right. Bandai, HG, all the things. Cool box art. And you got obligatory front shot. No rear shot. That's so funny. And you got his breakdown there. He's 18.3 meters tall, 57.2 tons. All of the weapons, because the Gundam, or Exia is a 7 sword, so he's got a buttload of weapons. You got the read up out there on the Gundam. You got Setsuna FCA, piloting. I'm trying to find the medium balance here. And you got Exia's her 3-year-old's eyes, because they were mind controlled by Crugis. No, what was his name? No, not his name, but I forgot what the organization that he ended up working with. The alias I just ran. Doesn't matter. Either way, he was from Crugis. Either way, 1,200 yen, nice and affordable kit. I believe I paid thereabouts for it. The main problem with some of these older kits like this is that people would like to gouge for it. We ain't playing that game, are we, Setsuna? One of these days I'm going to figure out how to make this work properly. But either way. So, guys, of course, with Double October, I'm speed building as quick as I can. And no build montages probably for most of it, if I could be honest. And this is the first Exia review of the year. Also, this one has probably got the least amount of stuff done to it, because bits of it were going to be customized, not just by myself, but by someone else. And hopefully all of that work will be shown by the end of this month. So, let's kick off Double October. Let's go with the Exia! Alright, so here we got Exia out on the turntable, so we're going to take a quick little dance around him. This is what happens when I put the switch on the wrong side. But just talking about the build outright, I hadn't built the HG Exia before, but the Estrella is based off of Exia and has a whole lot of the same part usage. So in essence, I'd built at least one before. I'm virtually an expert at it by now. But as I stated before, this one is going to be a little bit different in the fact that I've done a little bit less work to it, only because bits of it are going to be used for customs. But otherwise, this is just a straight build. And you guys should know, most of the time with 00, or with Double October, I tend to do a little bit more work. This one will be the exception that I didn't do a lot to. We'll see, you know, other kits later on after this that I have actually done more to. So that's gonna be it. Okay, so Gundam Exia. I think the only thing that's a little bit wonky with this version of Exia is that his shoulders are insanely big, or at least it just looks like it. Maybe his head is just a hair too small, but everything looks a little out of proportion with him. And granted, it is the first kit, so maybe there's a little bit of leeway with mistakes there, but it's a little bit funny. So if we'll zoom in on the head here, you can see he does have some clear bits on the sides, and then of course he does have the stickers installed in there and on the front of the face, so to speak, and then the eye stickers in there, and then around the back he also has a sticker. So that's one of the ones I did not have to do anything to. Now, one difference that I did do to the head, despite the fact it will be customized later, I painted the yellow in the cheek vents, because they don't even give you stickers for that. They kind of forget that it's there. Now, it is just a double ball joint mounted head, so he can turkey neck. Oh, he got stuck. How's he hanging up on? Oh, back there. Okay. Squeeze it together a little bit. And can't turn very far. He hits things. So that's that. If we come up a little bit on the chest, you can see he definitely has the GN antennas right there. You know, we've covered before what those are for. You know, they lose that design on the later iterations of Gundams. The next generation don't really use those anymore. So that's the thing. Come to the chest, and you see he's got the same clear bit with the greenish black reflective stuff inside. Looks cool. Now, much like other versions of Exia, these chest vents and everything are attached to the shoulders, so when it moves, that moves. They are just ball joints mounted back here with the pieces scissored together. Scissored together? Is that the word I wanted? I don't even know. But that's that. It's pretty cool. And I like the fact they give you real color separation with these yellow pieces. So yay for that. Now, one thing is I did use almost all the stickers from this set. So even in here on the side, you see right in there with the purple and the gray, that's a sticker. In fact, all the purple energy channeling stuff that's all over the body is all sticker. And I used that primarily because I'm not going to try to paint that. Simple as that. Now, shoulder, you do get rotation like so. He does move this individually on its own, and you can see he's got the energy cord thing in the shoulder like the original Exia do. He's got bicep rotation and a single jointed elbow. It's better than 90 degrees, and then just a ball joint mounted wrist, which you want to be careful. You don't want to knock anything out. You get a sticker here on the forearm with the forearm Vulcans, which everybody forgets he has little GN Vulcans right there, and clear piece with the sticker inside. These things keep on to fall out. This one very specifically always like to fall out. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, if you're building any of these Gundams that use these, which is virtually all the first generation Gundams and a few of the next ones, leave a little bit of nub. So this side is the one that really tucks under, so leave a little bit of a nub that it has something to catch onto, and then keep pushing till it snaps into place, because you can push it and feel like it's there, and then it'll fall right out. I fully expect one of these things to fall out, at least during this review. Now, he does not have an ab crunch, does not have a rock side to side, unfortunately, but he does twist like so. I mean, if you really want to work it a little bit, it is just a ball joint at the waist, so, but that's not going to get you anywhere. The front skirts here are cut. You can do that if you want to. You don't have to. I do. And these are stickers on the gray pits. Actually looks pretty good. Probably wouldn't even realize it if I told you. So I like a good sticker that does not give itself away. So I can definitely go with that. And same thing with the thighs. We already covered that. You can't really do a Jean-Claude because of the way that the hips are designed. They're old school ball joint hips that are solid in the middle. And you can only kick forward about to there before he really gives it up. Now these do, I believe there should be a shimmy shimmy. I believe the instructions showed a shimmy shimmy of sorts. Yeah, he can do a little bit of a shimmy shimmy. There we go. There's a good way to demonstrate it. Pull one leg and watch the other one dance. Dance! Alright. The back skirts back here, you only get the beam sabers that move. The rest of it does not. By the way, I just leave the beam sabers on. They're more for decoration anyways, in my opinion. And there's your little GN drive. And there's no stickers. There's nothing to apply to that, even though there should be a hint of green. And these thingies should be gray, just so you know. So, coming down to the legs, after I already did the thighs, it rotates up there. And I don't believe it rotates at the top of the thigh. I think it's just, yeah, it does not rotate there. It's only rotating at the hip. I'm just double checking, guys. You know, sometimes you're not sure. you do get a big old double knee joint, like so. 00CTOBER usually, or 00 kits generally don't have an issue with knee bends, unless of course you're something like a Virtue or something like that with giant knees. These parts tend to stay in fairly well, so I don't think you'll have to mess with them as often as you would for, say, the arm bits. And then you got the little parts back here. Sticker right through there. I got no problem using those because they look decent even when they're put in place. Though make sure you're pushing them in with a good Q-tip or something soft that can really, make the curves happen, so to speak. And you got the ball hinge mounted ankle, so hinged up here. Ball joint in the foot, so it can move around quite a bit. Ankle skirt here that will likely want to pop off a lot. And one other thing I recommend doing that I did not do, paint this little gap down in here in the foot with some gray. Just if you're gonna do it, I say do it. Yeah, as Exia goes by himself, that's pretty good. I digs it. I just think that maybe the shoulders are a little bit big. Quick break, and then we'll come back and talk accessories. Okay. All right. So we know that Exia usually has a lot of equipment going on. So we've already seen the 4 GN beam sabers on the back. Did it come with blades? No, it doesn't come with GN blades. Or actual beam saber blades. No, it doesn't. Okay, I actually had to think about that. But they do have these square tabs. So if you have a square tab beam saber from something else, you can try to use it. Why not? All right, so he does have a couple things. Let's talk about the least important, but not bad. You got the open hand, which is super easy to swap out. And yeah, he only comes with that one on the left hand, because frankly he's never not holding something in the right hand, probably, I guess. So he's got that. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention it. He can hi teacher. Hi. Oops, that's coming off. One problem I have with it is the bicep cuts tend to work their way loose fairly easily. All right, so let's stick with the left arm and pull out his GN shield, which is molded all in blue. This is one really big sticker, if you can't tell by the really harsh lines and the very poor fitment up here on this edge. That was mostly on me. The top is not too bad. It does roll over effectively, and if you really kind of push it down into the gaps, it's honestly not too bad. If you're keen on painting it, all the power to you. Like I said, this is a fairly basic build. I didn't do a whole lot to him. He does have this nice swivel down here, and then a tabby tab. The tabby tab's right there into the forearm, and now he's got a shield that will stay on that arm forevers. Okay, so up next he does have, excuse me, fellas. He's got his little GN swords. I'm trying to remember if these are the GN sword 1s or the 2s. I always get it confused because when it comes to 00, like the actual Gundam, I know that one's weapons. Exias, I get confused. If these are the 1s or the 2s, and then you do have the other one. So you got the long one, you got the short one. Now you'll notice, hey, there's some colors missing there. You are correct. So part of this should be gray, part of this should be gray and or white. The blade should be white or chrome or gray, just depending on which model you've got. And he does hold it mostly fine, unless you tip him over backwards. Hey, see, I told you. I absolutely told you it would fall out. And there it goes. All it took was just falling over. Oh yeah, I forgot. This one is actually tabbed on the one side to clear that thing. And I actually used... I didn't think it actually chipped it that bad, but it did. By all means, if you need to use a tiny bit of glue around the edge of that to get it in place, I absolutely suggest it. So he can hold the sword. It's a loose fit, but he can hold it. He can also hold the smaller one. Why does that feel like a better fit? And just to show it off, you can sort of hold the beam sabers. Actually, that's a little bit nicer of a fit, if I'm honest. Now, he does come with my favorite thing ever. Beam weapon storage. No, just weapon storage. I don't know where beams came from. Now, normally Exia does have sword holding kind of thingies here on the hips. This one has these covers, like so. And you say, well, what are you supposed to do about that? You get these little gray thingies. This is the left side one. You can tell by the way it has, this part is a little bit lower than the other part. So the sword will lean backwards, which is what you want. And you just put these guys on. They just go on over the circle. You get a circle bit. Then you grab these guys, line it up proper, like so, and then they just pop right on. And it gives the illusion that that's slid out, which is an interesting gimmick on the MG and the PG, granted. Now what you got to do on here, there are some minor little clippy tabs there, and you just want to sort of clip these in place. Just sort of work it until it clips in, like so. And now what you have is a sword that is absolutely in your way when you want to do things. And I'm not joking, it's like, just, I had him displayed with just these weapons on, and it just kept getting in its own way, especially because it's connected to the hips. So whenever you turn the hips, the swords turn. So that can be a little bit of a hindrance, if I'm honest. And you can turn it if you need to, but more or less you end up just knocking it off one way or another. So you get a much steeper thing there. It does run into the back skirt, I believe. That is the worst issue with it, but you know, you can work your way around it. Now if you really want to just leave them always displayed with that, you could totally glue those in place so nothing wants to fall off. But I mean, the holsters, not the swords, because you probably want to use the swords at some point, right? Right. Speaking of swords, big old GN sword. So it's his GN sword 2 question mark, because GN sword 3 is the one that the 00 has. This is the predecessor to that, which I believe is the 2. Those might be ones. So it does have all the characteristics that the GN sword usually does have. It has the big folding blade, it has the little beam pistol, and the little bitty shield that is a sticker. Go figure. But looks really good, doesn't it? Now there's one problem, that this is all the same color. Is that a sticker, or am I stupid? No, this is not a sticker. I'm thinking of a different kit. I apologize. Other kits do have that as a sticker. This is all white. Problem is, this should be gray. Once again, it's a thing that I fix on other ones. Now, if you want it in gun mode, you just kind of leave it like that and you pull it apart, which is something I have a problem doing. It should hinge a little bit better than it does, but it doesn't. But you can pull the handle out like so, put that in his hand to get the trigger lined up, fold that back down, and then you got to line that tab back up to plug into the arm, which is, by the way, how the weapon is powered. Which I think is one of the cool things about the 00 Gundams, is that their weapons are powered directly from their main generators, like so. And of course, if you want to put it in sword mode, it's super easy. You just flip the blade forward, and now he's ready to slice and dice like that. Now, of course, he does have his actual sword mode. So realistically, if you just hold this kind of in place and just rotate the blade up like that, he can hold it in his regular sword mode. It's the one that you'll use the least, if I'm honest. Now, one problem I definitely have is the way that these two pieces fit together. It does tend to tweak and want to come apart. We already saw that once. There we go. Now it's straight up and down. So now he's got his big old blade. That's why he's equipped with solid blade. So in case we ever have to come across anybody who has a GN shield, the solid blade can cut through it. Spoilers for the end of season 1. But there's Exia. He looks awesome. Downy. Sorry guys, I had spicy food at lunch, which was a bad idea, and now my nose is running like crazy. Okay, so we've got Exia. Let's back the camera out a little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna actually, that's gonna annoy me, so I'm gonna put his sword down. Like that. Get him in a pose, more or less. That's gonna, yeah. Can you see why I'm annoyed with certain parts of this kit? Stand. There we go. All right, so now that's done, quick comparisons. We'll bring out Grandpa Gundam, the Revive that we looked at back in September, because he's here on the desk, and it's still September. The last thing I reviewed, from my point of view, 30-minute missions. So a little bit shorter, but roughly the same size. And because we need to kick this off proper, I'll bring out HG Dynamis, HG Virtue, and HG Curious. So you get the original 4/5. It's always kind of a /5 when it comes to Virtue. Gundams out there from Season 1. Like I said, now I've got to find a way to integrate Exia into that original display, and that's going to be a pain in my butt. Alright guys, quick break. I'll come back for final thoughts. Alright guys, so final thoughts wise on doing this original Exia. It was fun. It's been a while since I built something that was similar to the original Gundams, based off the original kind of GN core design, so to speak. I mean, the Australia last year was the closest thing, at least in the HG world. And this is my first HG Exia proper. And like I said, I've built more than one now by this point. So teasers for upcoming stuff. And by the way, of course, I'm just showing off that it can definitely go on a stand, though this was a really roundabout way to do it. I needed that weird adapter to make Curios fly proper. It does have some issues being an older kit. The stickers aren't terrible. Fitment of things is a little bit wonky. They didn't really think out the hip things with the swords to help them kind of stay in place. That's a really bad screw up in that case. I do think the proportions are definitely off between the shoulders and the body and the head. I think it is just a little bit too big. At least the shoulders are too big, or the head is too small. It's one of those weird inconsistencies. I think that the PG got it right. The MG is definitely close, if nothing else, but the HG definitely needs some work in that regard, but it's a good kit otherwise. So, for our first episode of this season of Double October, give me a big old thumbs up, guys. Give me a big old thumbs up. We got a lot to do this month. So, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, because usually Double October brings in a lot of new people. Usually the next year, though, but you know, it is what it is. Double O is one of people's favorite series, and it is definitely one of mine, or I wouldn't bother doing an entire month dedicated to it. Now, because it is Double October, make sure you check out the Double October merch store. There's going to be new shirts and everything else with the new logo. And of course, you can always check out the old ones. Not technically 2018's throwback. And you can always check out the previous seasons as well, the tour shirts. And there was supposed to be beanies. I don't know what happened to that. I need to contact Teespring because I'm a little pissed that I paid money to have Double October beanies and they're not in my store. So, I guess, come back for the next review. And remember, as always, to keep on building.